covenant with his parents, I marry him, his parents become my parents. I have a mother-in-law and a father-in-law, right? Not because I've ever chosen them. In fact, I might not have even liked them, but it doesn't matter. I enter a covenant with him. Whoever he is in covenant with, I become in covenant with. Okay. That is so, so important. And if you get that, you'll understand the mechanism of the covenant and how God is using the covenant to help his family grow throughout the ages. Okay? So when a covenant opens you up, makes your love grow. Okay? So you have a covenant between Adam and Eve, beautiful and wonderful. But as soon as they are in covenant with someone else, that family relationship continues to grow. Okay? And that's the way God intended it. And take a look at this, okay? So you've got under Adam, he's a husband, and the marriage is the basic covenant relationship, right? And there's a sign of their covenant. There's a sign of their covenant. And a lot of people don't know this because in the Old Testament, in the book of Genesis, it's actually kind of hidden, okay? But the Sabbath is the sign of their covenant. Okay?
Why?
We're actually going to get to that when we start in Genesis. I'm just going to quickly go over the overview. That's what this top line is. This little chart is the overview. Okay? But that is a good question. Why? It's like the best question, isn't it? Why? Okay. So Adam had a wife, so that was one family, right? A husband and wife. Okay. Noah, 10 generations after Adam, isn't that neat that it's 10 generations? Oh, comes Noah. And Noah has a wife, but he also has children. He's got 3 sons. And each of those 3 sons is married to a wife. Okay? So there are 8 people, and they form a household. Okay? So when you have a household, it's composed of several marriages. Okay? So God's family is growing, and when Noah establishes his covenant with God, he gets the sign of a rainbow. And we're going to look at that. Hello, we've got handout sheets at the front here. See, that's meant to embarrass latecomers.
I'm not embarrassed.
Yeah, oh, we're going to get you. Don't worry. We will embarrass you. We will find a way. Oh, good stuff. Okay, third covenant mediator is Abram. He had a household, he had a wife, right? He had a household, but he was also a chieftain, and he was in charge of a tribe. And a tribe is composed of several households, and each household has several marriages. So you can see how God's family keeps growing each time he forms a covenant. Okay? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we're going to ignore that. Abraham had more than one wife, and yes, we're just going to stick with Sarah for right now. And the sign of his covenant, circumcision. Okay? Moses was the next person. He wasn't just a chieftain in charge of one tribe. He led the 12 tribes of Israel out of bondage. Remember that? And when he led the 12 tribes, he formed them in the Promised Land into a nation. He gave them a national identity. They became the Israelites, right? And don't forget that Israel is the person who had the 12 sons, okay? The 12 tribes. Each of those sons became a tribe. We have handout sheets right here in the front. Okay, we got to keep passing them back if someone wants to do. Okay, sorry? Yep, thank you. And then David, we have King David. Okay, he was a king. He was in charge of a kingdom. And when you have a kingdom, you start going to war with other nations and other kingdoms. And you conquer nations. And you accept them as vassal states underneath you. And so you expand your territory. So when you think of the kingdom of, well, let's think of the United Kingdom, right? They went out and they conquered and they set up vassal states and other, territories. And so you've got I wouldn't consider ourselves a vassal state of England anymore, right? But we still have connections. But England is connected to Canada and Australia and India, and so you've got all these different places, but it started out as one nation, okay, one kingdom, and it goes conquering other nations. A kingdom is made up of several nations. A nation is composed of several tribes. A tribe is composed of several households, which is composed of several marriages. And so God's family grows until you get to the final covenant, right? And there I put the word Catholic Church, okay? And the word Catholic means what? Universal. Very good. You're all so smart. Okay, universal. Now this is a church. It includes any kingdom that wants to join, any person that wants to join, but it is Catholic. It is universal. Okay? Notice I did not put Roman Catholic Church. Okay? Make sure you realize that's a distinction. We're not talking about the Roman Catholic Church. We're talking about the Catholic Church. Okay? Christ established a covenant. Okay? And the sign of his covenant is the Eucharist. Okay? So hopefully we're okay with that outline, because that is the outline for the rest of the whole sheet, and that is the series of covenants that takes place throughout the entire Bible. Are we okay?
Yes. Now, Moses, the sign would be the Ten Commandments? Is that what
The sign is the Passover.
Passover. What about David's?
David's sign is the throne, and it's right there on your sheet. It's the bottom line on your sheet. See how great I was making up this sheet? Oh, the humility just oozing out of me. Okay, so Genesis 2, verses 2 to 3. And look at that. You can look it up in your Bible, which is like the way to do it, or you can cheat and just read the sheet. Cheat and read the sheet. Okay. Cheat sheet. Okay, so it says, since on the seventh day God was finished with the work he had been doing, he rested. God blessed the seventh day and made it holy. So there's the seventh day, and he does three things. Did he create anything on the seventh day?
In a way he did. A holy day.
He did create a new day. The answer is no.
He rested.
He rested, okay, from all the work he had been doing creating, okay? Was he tired? Was God tired? No, God does not get tired. Okay, but he rested in order to give us a day of rest. Okay, so it says he rested on that day. Now what's interesting is that here's something else most people don't know, and I thought it was cool when I first learned it. The word seven means something. It actually means something more than just the number, okay? It actually means two things. First thing it means is perfection. So instead of saying, oh, she's a perfect 10, right? You're supposed to biblically say, oh, she's a 7.
Does it work for 70?
Okay, yes, she's a 70. Okay. So that's how it would work, you know, perfection, 7. Oh, perfect number. But it also means covenant, okay? Because literally the word to swear a covenant oath, the phrase to swear a covenant oath in the Hebrew is to seven yourself. Isn't that strange? Yeah. If you want to swear a covenant oath, you have to seven yourself, because that's what the word means, covenant oath. Isn't that amazing? So by creating a seventh day, God sevened creation, and therefore God swore a covenant oath with his creation. See, we're looking for the translation of where it says that in the Old Testament. In Genesis, it doesn't say that. It says it in the language. It's hidden in the language. And if only we spoke Hebrew, we'd all get it. But since we don't, you know, and they can't translate two things at the same time, they went with God created the seventh day instead of saying God swore a covenant oath. But take a look at Exodus 31. Okay. 13 to 17. It says, take care to keep my Sabbaths, for that is to be the token between you and me throughout the generations to show that it is I, the Lord, who make you holy. Observe the Sabbath as a perpetual covenant. There was no question that God established a covenant on the seventh day. The rest of the Bible talks about it, especially anytime they talk about the Sabbath or the Ten Commandments, right? Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. They always talk about the covenant. Okay? We miss that because we don't know that the word to swear a covenant oath is the same word as seven. Okay? Are we okay with that covenant? Okay, well then let's move on. Oh, sorry, let me say one thing. So on that day when God swore a covenant oath, he established a family bond, right? That's what the covenant is all about. That's what it accomplishes. So on the sixth day, he created creatures. He created the animals and people, okay? On the seventh day, he entered into covenant. And what happened to those creatures? What happened to those people that were his creatures? He entered into covenant. He swore a family oath. A sacred family bond was established. He became, on the seventh day, their father. They became his children. Okay, that's the sacred family bond. And so when you keep the Sabbath day, that is the sign of your covenant with God. That means you're saying, yes, God, I want to be your child. I want you to be my father. I want to have this relationship with you. What did it mean as soon as Adam and Eve broke the covenant? Right? What did they say, in effect? I don't want to be your child. I don't want to listen to you as my father. I'll make up my own commandments. I'll do what I want to do. Right? Yeah, and that covenant relationship was broken. And what happens immediately when that covenant relationship is broken? They realized that they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together. I've got to check out how big fig leaves are. It just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, because aren't they? Anyway.
Make a cabbage roll.
Oh, okay. Apparently they're quite big. This is another topic. They sewed fig leaves together, right, to cover their nakedness. And then what did God do instead of fig leaves? He killed some animals and he gave them leather skins, right, animal skins to wear. What was he saying? He was saying, on the sixth day you were creatures. On the seventh day you became my children. Then you broke the covenant, didn't want to become my children, and you returned back to being simply my creatures, having the relationship with me as creator and creature, and you are now dressed in animal skins. Okay? You don't want to be a child of God, you want to be like one of the animals. How sad, right? And so God recognizes this. This is what you're doing. And he's not happy about it. He's the one that's constantly calling us back, but I want to be your father. I want to be in relationship with you. Come back to me. Right? Come back to me. And so through Noah, he offers another covenant. Right? And it says in Noah, Genesis 9, it says, see, now I am establishing my covenant with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, that never again shall all bodily creatures be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Okay. This is the sign that I am giving. I set my bow in the clouds to serve as a sign of the covenant. Okay. So even though humanity rejected God's love, rejected God as Father, God forms another covenant with all of creation again, right? It's this fatherly love of his. He keeps reaching out to us. And this time,